welcome to episode number 12. Yep, we've reached a dozen here of the Two Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. My name is Brian Weeb. I'm the owner and editor-in-chief of BCHLnetwork.ca and am absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride here today on this episode, as we've got someone that offers a pretty unique perspective when it comes to the BCHL. He played 5 seasons in the league and then went on to Colgate University to play NCAA Division I hockey, and then eventually made his way back to the BC Hockey League as a coach, first with the Alberni Valley Bulldogs as an assistant coach and a goaltending coach, and is now the head coach of the Prince George Spruce Kings. His name is Alex Evin. Alex, thanks so much for taking the time to chat here on the Two Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network.
Yeah, Brian, it's nice to chat with you again. I know we go back a little ways. I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate all the work you do to promote our league.
Thanks very much. So it was a 4-game sweep for you at the hands of Salmon Arm. As a coach, what do you take away from that playoff series against the Silverbacks?
Well, I think it's hard to take away a ton of positives when you don't win a playoff game. But I think at the end of the day, what we could be proud of the most with our group is we're able to get back in the community this year. I think with the COVID season and then even a lot of disruptions, I can't even imagine a year ago we were still going to school visits with masks on and restrictions in terms of community events, and each region was affected differently. I know we were 50% capacity for a lot of the season. So for those reasons, I thought it was real positive. We were able to get back our players back out in the community and make a positive impact. And then just to have no disruptions from that end, I thought was really good. Unfortunately, like I said, couldn't wish we were playing today, to be honest with you, but we'll have to, dissect our season a little bit here in the next few weeks and look to get better.
So after a regular season where your team ended up tied with Salmon Arm in points in that sprint to get home ice advantage in the first round, what were the emotions like for your club heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, we were very up and down in the second half. I don't think we strung more than 2 wins together, and we were only able to do it twice. It's a good lesson for the guys coming back that every game is important. Every point matters. We were able to play well. I thought we played well the last 4 games leading into the playoffs in terms of fighting for a higher seed, and we got we had some scrappy moments. We were able to get some points at a games where, we were able to tie it late or vice versa. And those, were important at the end. We gave ourselves a chance last game of the season to get home ice. And unfortunately we blew a lead and just fell short. But, I was proud of our group in the last few games. I thought they put great efforts together. And unfortunately we weren't, like I said, able to see it in the playoffs. So,
despite the result against Salmon Arm, was there anybody on your roster who stepped up and led the way during the postseason?
Yes and no. I thought for the most part we had an inconsistent group. I think we had a lot more potential. I don't know if anyone is on the level of Penticton right now. But a goal for us would have definitely been, we thought second round for sure. And then you never know, see what happens. But just overall, I think too many inconsistencies were in our game, and we have to give credit to our opponent. I thought they played 4 solid hockey games, and I thought we only played maybe 2. So as much as we want to look at where we could be better and do things different, I think our opponent in Salmon Arm deserves a lot of credit for how they played in that series.
According to the BCHL website, your team has 8 players committed to NCAA Division I schools. It's a third of your roster. Despite the playoff result, how much do you look at that number of college commitments as a success?
Yeah, I think it's important, to be moving players on. I think also everyone is in a different stage in their development. There's players that are ready now that, will go to school, and there's players that, the younger players that, maybe don't have commitments that will eventually, if they keep developing the way they are, they will get commitments. So I think as a whole, we want to look at which players got better on our team. But at the end of the day, we are moving players on to the next level. I think for me as a goal as a coach is, especially all your graduating 20-year-olds, you want to make sure that they're, deserving and having a spot to play at the next level, which all 6 guys of ours are, and we're really proud of that. And then, to see our Spruce Kings alumni, making impact to the next level. I think that's what we're really proud of that. I think the last 6 years have been positive for that. Guys leaving our program are making an impact at the college level, especially Division I. Look at Ethan DeYoung was able to contribute to a championship season. We had other players in the Frozen Four. A couple Colgate guys were able to help win them their first championship in a long time, and there's a lot of other accolades. Our guys that went to St. Thomas and down the list. So we feel like this is a program that, players are getting better, and they're not just getting better and going to school, they're making an impact, and we're really happy with that right now.
So when you evaluate your roster in PG there going into next season, where do you think you need to make some key improvements or fill some holes?
Well, right now I'd say everywhere. There's always an area or 2 or 10 that we want to get better. We still got to sit down as a staff and as management. Look at what we liked. Evaluate some of our players and the returning players and the trajectory that we see them on. Obviously looking at recruiting here going into the summer is always challenging, trying to identify what we need the most. We still got some work to do in terms of meetings with that. Right now, I would say everything needs to be better, but at the end of the day, we just, trying to let the season go here for a bit and then get back to work in the next week or 2.
So with Mike Hawes there as general manager, Craig Carter as director of player personnel, how much insight can you give into the level of input that you get as the head coach into the final roster decisions for the Spruce Kings?
Yeah, I think, starting with Mike, we have a great leader. I mean, he obviously has a lot of experience in not only this league, but in the game. And I think I'm a big believer in how he wants to run and operate our program. And then, it trickles down. I think, Mike obviously has the final say in everything, but he gives everyone on our staff a voice, which is, I really appreciate as a coach. I know every team or program does it differently. I mean, for us, where we don't have a draft in our league, and it's obviously a recruiting based league, I think it's can't just be done by one person. I think everyone plays a part in identifying future players and what the roster needs. And Mike's always great. And from the coaching end of it, he lets us coach, and he always is very welcoming to our feedback on what we need as a staff and what we need to do. And then as a group, we try to go do that. So, and Craig's a guy that, he's worked in junior as a scout for a long, long time, and even at higher levels. And he brings obviously a lot to the table and does a lot of work during the season where our coaching staff and even Mike isn't able to travel a lot. So I feel like we have a good team and we work really well together, and looking forward to continue to work with those guys.
So in that same vein, like someone could be the greatest coaching or scouting genius on the planet, but it's still incredibly competitive when it comes to recruiting. So what's the pitch that you and the Spruce Kings staff make about a player coming to develop in Prince George?
Yeah, I feel like, let's be honest, we're a lot farther away than most people would like. I think our geographic location, that's something we can't control, but I think what we can control is, how we operate. Our model is to put our players in a position for success every day, whether we're at practice or on the road. So how we do things, I think we take a lot of pride in that. We're a community-based organization, and we sell opportunity. I think that's the biggest thing for me as a coach is looking for the right type of kids that are coming for the right reasons. And a lot of the reasons will be opportunity. And if they believe that we're able to help them on their development path. And then I think, a lot of kids that come up here, they don't know a lot about Prince George. They just know we're far away. But we have been pretty successful here the last 6 seasons. I know we've been to the finals a couple times, obviously winning. And we're moving players on to the next level, like I said. And I think the locker room is really, really strong, and how we welcome everybody and treat everybody. So I think once players get here, they really enjoy being here, and we hope to continue that going forward.
From you personally, what are the advantages of having that perspective of someone? I mean, you played 5 seasons in the BCHL rather than a coach that maybe hasn't been in the player's shoes at this level.
Yeah, you're making me feel old thinking about that. I've been a part of the league for a long time. 5 years as a player, and then I'm going to be going into my 12th year as a coach, 7th year here, probably, about 11 years involved in the league and with other organizations and other roles. And I feel like I've seen a lot, even though I am in my mid-30s. I've seen, teams operate really, really well. I've obviously seen maybe some of the not great things. And from my end, I want to make sure that, from my experience, we're taking what I believe would work and passing it, down to our players and other people at our organization. I think we always want to create an environment that the players feel like they can have success and get better. And that's something I strive to do as a coach.
So I'm going to make you feel even older here now. It was 10 years ago that you went straight from playing at Colgate to being an assistant coach at Selkirk College in the BC Intercollegiate League. When you think back to that time, what was that transition like for you going from a player one season to being on the bench the next?
Yeah, it was something I probably didn't plan for, to be honest with you. I remember sitting with a lot of my Colgate teammates in our last 2 years, in school, and we're like, when we're done hockey, like, what do you think we're gonna be doing with our lives? And coaching was not on my list. I'll be honest. I did not think I was ever going to coach. I did enjoy, help giving back and helping young players while I was a player. So maybe I did have a little bit of that in me, but it wasn't my ultimate goal. And with the pro lockout year, I didn't excel in my last few years at college, so it was only minor pro contracts were coming my way, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And there was an opportunity to get involved at Selkirk College, and I didn't really know much about that level of hockey. I knew it was university or college hockey, which was intriguing for me. I was in my hometown, and I had some buddies play for the team, ways back, and I don't think the program was that successful. And then under Jeff Dubois and Kim Bergen, they seemed to rejuvenate the program. And, I was thankful that they let me join the staff. I had a lot of fun. The community was really, really behind that team. And it was pretty cool to see the building being sold out in my hometown for a local college game. I don't think I would have ever predicted that growing up. And I just had a lot of fun those couple of years. And obviously winning is something I really, really love. Continued from there. It got me on my way to continue to be a coach.
So you played under Fred Harbinson in Penticton during your final BCHL season in 2007 and 8. It was his first season in Penticton. Now the legacy that he's built since then, arguably the best coach in BCHL history. That year, what type of lessons did you learn from Fred when you were a player that you might still carry with you to today?
Yeah, first off, I have a ton of respect for Fred and the Penticton Bees organization. I think, my time there was fantastic. And, Fred was a really, really good coach. And I know I was, a goalie, and he can probably tell you he doesn't know much about goaltending, but I think he taught me a lot, just about being consistent and in your work every day. I think that's what I always remember Coach Harbinson preaching. And it's probably no fluke that his teams are still very good. I remember we had a very, very solid team. I don't know if we were the most talented team in the world, but we were definitely a very, very hardworking group. And I know he helped me a lot with that. I thought I was a hardworking player, and he was able to kind of push me to the next level. And that's something I'll always be thankful for, and I won't forget.
You played for the Williams Lake Timberwolves the season prior to that, which was actually the last season before the club went defunct for a couple of years. What memories stick out to you about playing for the T-Wolves that year?
Yeah, looking back, it was like a slapshot movie almost, with the team and all the rumors where we were going to move, and tons of distraction. We were able to fight our way into the playoffs, which was kind of fun at the end. But that year was it was tough, but as a player, I got to play a lot, and some of my teammates actually from that year I still keep in touch with a little bit. So we did have a good group of guys. But yeah, it was a bit different going from Williams Lake, folding. I was really thankful though. Coach there took real good care of me. He was able to put me in a trade before that dispersal draft to Penticton. I'll always appreciate that from Coach Carpenter. It helped me out a lot, and obviously it was a big reason I was able to move to the next level, is go to a great organization like Penticton, and we were able to win.
So thinking back to those days as a BCHL player, what was your favorite road arena to play in?
Ooh, I don't know if it was my favorite in terms of success. I would say my favorite rink and where I had a lot of success was probably in Prince George. I always bug Hazy that, I had a lot of wins in this rink as a player. But I thought, I played 3 years in the Island Division. And back then, I feel like every arena was always sold out. I don't know if it's like that now, but, when Victoria moved into their new rink, they had a lot of fans, it felt like, all the time, with Tyler Bozak and the Ben brothers there. They had a really good team. Cowichan Valley was always a tough rink to play in with tons of rowdy fans, and that was real fun. Even my very first game was in Nanaimo. I think there was over 3,000 fans in a pretty hostile environment. We played some playoff series against them, and remember the building always being sold out, and Port Alberni had a great fan base. So that's one thing I remember is I think the fan base, the sold out arenas on the island. I don't want to say back in the day, but yeah, it was definitely different back then.
So that leads into my next question. What, if you could pinpoint one, what's the toughest road rink that you played in?
As a player, definitely Nanaimo. I thought they always had a very, very strong team. I think that was the Bill Bestwick era, and they were either in the finals or winning the championship a lot of the times. They had a good team, and it was a pretty hostile road environment. Those games are always very, very challenging.
So you mentioned it a bit earlier, and we'll wrap it up with this question about the isolation that the Spruce Kings have in Prince George, the northernmost team in the BCHL. But is there a sense of pride there, and how does it feel to have the Spruce Kings represent that entire region of northern BC? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, there's not a lot of teams in our league, maybe some of the Kootenai teams, or Wenatchee, but you can't really say you represent your entire region. We're definitely the North's team, and in my years of coaching here, we've been able to be part of the two BCHL road shows, which have been hosted up north, and it's been great that we've been able to be a part of it. The first one was in Kitimat, and even though there's great hockey and the league is doing a great thing with those road shows in terms of reaching out to the communities and making positive impacts. Being the North team, you can see just some of the pride in the community that you are from the North and the support that we get. And then doing it in Burns Lake was a great experience. And it is pretty cool to be able to, have a bit of a fan or support base from not just Prince George, and hopefully we can keep representing the North in a positive fashion.
Great stuff there from Alex Evin, the head coach of the Prince George Spruce Kings, here on the 2 Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. I do want to remind you that you can find all the episodes of the podcast. We're located where you get all of your favorite podcasts: Apple or Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and Stitcher. Would appreciate it if you could give us a like and a subscribe there. Pretty awesome stuff here. Just so much fun putting this podcast together. Also, even though it's the off season for a handful of teams in the BC Hockey League, still lots of content being pumped out over at bchlnetwork.ca, including a comparison between this year's Powell River Kings team compared to last year, some news about the West Kelowna Warriors, Coquitlam Express as well, plus one of the series that a lot of fans mentioned that they like over the years, the graduating players and eligible returnees. We'll publish those at bchlnetwork.ca as teams are eliminated from the Fred Page Cup playoffs, plus the all 17-year-old teams, the all 18-year-old teams, 19 and 20 are coming up as well at bchlnetwork.ca. If you'd like to join the team, well, we've got a button there on the website that says just that, join our team. Click on it and there's a form that you can fill out. It sends an email to yours truly. And basically what we're looking for is your ability to write a minimum of 2 articles per month at 500 words each. So it's not really that much, should be achievable. And then, of course, your favorite social media platforms to share the work that you publish at bchlnetwork.ca. So if you're looking to get some experience in sports media, would love to have you on board. Just head on over to bchlnetwork.ca, click on join our team, fill out the form, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Okay, that wraps it up for episode number 12 of the 2 Goal Lead podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Our next guest is a member of the Salmon Arm Silverbacks. Looking forward to that, and certainly hope that you'll join us as well for episode number 13. Take care, and I'll talk to you then.